One of the weird things about reviewing new cars is having to reset your expectations all the time. Like last week I was driving a $62,000 Lexus SUV, and then this week I'm driving a car that costs less than half as much, the new 2017 Hyundai Elantra. And whenever that happens, going from an expensive luxury car to a more affordable car, I always try to brace myself for the letdown. I don't want to judge the cheaper car too harshly just because of what I happened to be driving in the last week. Well, the cool thing about the new Elantra is that it didn't feel like such a letdown from the Lexus. Now don't get me wrong, comparing a little Hyundai to a big old Lexus SUV is like apples and oranges. They're aimed at two very different kinds of buyers. But in terms of the features and the actual driving experience, it was just cool how much of that luxury feel the new Elantra brought to the table at a price of $27,000, so less than half what the Lexus cost. It had a big touchscreen navigation system like the Lexus, it had radar cruise control and lane keep assist like the Lexus, it had heated seats in front and in back like the Lexus, so it checked a lot of those exact same boxes. And that's one of the big goals Hyundai had for this new generation car. It even did something really cool that surprised me. If you've got the air conditioner or the heater blowing full blast and then you start to make a phone call through the Bluetooth system, well, it usually makes it hard to hear the phone. But the new Elantra automatically turns the blower down a little bit so you can hear the phone better when you make a call. It's just one of those little cool, thoughtful things I like to see on cars to set them apart. The other thing that surprised me was just how quiet and comfortable the cabin was. This new generation Elantra has a softer ride than before and apparently a lot more sound insulation to keep the road noise and the engine noise out of the cabin. It's just another thing that made me think, boy, there's not really much of a gap between this Hyundai and a real luxury car. Now, the downside is that I wasn't all that impressed with the performance of this car. It feels like it's designed more for gas mileage than for fun, and you see that in the numbers. 37 miles per gallon on the highway for my test car. That's great for saving money. Just don't expect acceleration to be all that fantastic. Another picky thing, it felt like the transmission was hunting for gears at times. That's not too big a deal, but it was noticeable to me, and maybe it stood out a little bit more because everything else on this car seemed so refined. The way it looks, the construction of the cabin, the steering feel, the brake feel, it all just feels like a very well sorted out car in so many different ways. Now, while my loaded up test Elantra rang up over $27,000, it actually starts a lot lower than that. You can get it for about $10,000 less, so a little over $17,000 for the starting price.